guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Jordan, this is my best friend Brooke, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 things we wish we knew before we start our health and fitness journey. So before we start on the 5 things we each wish we knew before our fitness journeys is we are not health nutritionists, we are not any kind of personal trainer. We are 2 girls who have just been living our lives for the past couple of years, trying to go to the gym and eat healthy. So when we say stuff about calories or weightlifting, take that with a grain of salt. This is just things that we wish we could have watched this video back when we were starting to talk to ourselves. So, and then maybe it helps someone who's starting out. Nothing should be taken with a medical advice. That's not what we're trying to give here. Talk to your doctor if you have any concerns with anything that we do mention. But other than that, we'll start with our 5 things.
So the first thing that I wish I would have known going into my fitness journey is that eating lower calories isn't always the right answer for you. So for me, by the time that I was beginning to get into like dieting and whatnot and calorie counting and everything like that, I was eating like 1,200 calories, which is super minimal for almost anybody.
Oh yeah, that's really low for any adult.
Yes, yeah. And I didn't know anything about macros, which is like understanding your food breaks up into macros, which is proteins, carbs, and fats. And that's what a lot of people have learned to focus on, because you can kind of eat anything and not restrict yourself, which is a healthier way to do it, just because then you're able to sustain your weight loss at that point. But you don't know that in the beginning.
Yeah, and then especially when you're eating so, like, coming from where I came from, being like overly overweight, you're eating thousands and thousands of calories to begin with, and then you're cutting it to only 1,200. Yeah, you're gonna lose weight. You're gonna lose weight really fast. All fine and dandy until you're then at that plateau and you're like, oh, I can't lose any weight, and then you're only going down to like 1,000 calories, 900 calories, and that's just not sustainable or healthy in the slightest kinds of way. So starting off at a more reasonable lower calorie, or even just cutting off slowly, like track one day and you're like, oh my gosh, I eat over 3,000 calories in a day. I should probably go down to like 2,500, and then once you hit your plateau, go down. So more of like just knowing that you can eat and still lose weight. You don't have to go automatically to what MyFitnessPal might recommend or something like that.
Right, yeah, that's just a basic generated calculation. That doesn't give you like what you need. Like for me, let's just say like a couple months ago, I was doing reverse dieting. Well, that's because my calorie was already low. It was at 1,500. And I reached out to a nutritionist and she said, well, we have to reverse diet you. We can't start cutting because then you'd be down to like 1,200 again, 1,200. She's like, that's not healthy for your metabolism. It's not going to work as efficiently. So I reverse dieted to almost 2,000, and then we dropped down to 1,500 to what I was originally eating at, which is way better. I mean, you don't feel like you're starving as much, but like my metabolism was working so much better that the fat that I had, which was minimal for my size, is just like, I was leaning out really fast, and I was going up in weight really fast because I was actually fueling my body more than I had in the past. So,
and to lead off on that, my first thing I wish I knew was that your progress will not be linear all the time. Like how we just talked about, you're gonna have those plateaus. You're gonna have to go up maybe or maintain, and then you can go back down. Or even in the gym, you're not gonna sit there and lift 15 pounds one week and the next day be like, oh, I can do 20 now. It's like, okay, maybe that was just because you didn't do it high enough the last time, or you're just not gonna just progress every single week or every single month. It takes sometimes months to years to even progress in some lifting, or going down in a pant size, or whatever it may be. Just, it's not always just an up or downward spiral. You're gonna have those plateaus, those moments of being the same, and that's okay, and you just have to be comfortable with that. I know in the beginning it was hard to realize that when you're going through your plateau, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means something, you just need to tweak something.
Yeah, so. No, absolutely. I know for me, I've had to back down on weight for like squats and stuff like that, because I learned my scoliosis has gotten to a terrible degree. So if I continue to lift really heavy on my back, it's going to cause me more back pain in the future. So you have to listen to your body. Like, it hurt my back, but I was like, oh, it's just because my back's not strong enough.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I didn't realize it was actually, like, a clinical condition. So, like, sometimes being aware of these plateaus, it's probably something that, you know, you should really hone in on and figure out, like, am I pulling something, you know, by pushing myself too hard?
Right.
You know, because that can hurt you, obviously, in the long run, too. And then I guess that goes into my second one. Gym burnout is real. Like, you can work out consistently and feel, like, on fire. You feel really good. And then all of a sudden, you're just like, I don't want to go. And you don't want to go for, like, months. And then you kind of get bored of what you're doing. And you kind of just need to get revamped. Like, I know for me, I'm pretty intermediate in the gym, I would say. I know a lot about, like, how to do things, the forms and everything like that. But I have a terrible imagination of how to create a layout of what I want. So, I mean, like, I've hired different trainers just so that I can get revamped into the gym and not feel like I have to figure out a whole game plan by myself, because that's exhausting.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to try new things either. So if, like, let's say you're weightlifting and you're just getting bored with it, you don't have to only lift weights to make changes in your body. You can take cycling classes, do Pilates, yoga, run a marathon. You could do whatever, like, other things that it doesn't have to be the same thing. Because you're like, oh, this gave me results, I have to continue to do that. You could do other things.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I just started cycling. Not much. Not much because it hurts. But I started doing that as, like, my cardio because I want to do better for my heart and stuff like that, just so for the long term. But I realized that I really enjoy it at short, like, 20-minute intervals. Not an hour, not for me, but I really enjoy that. And, like, before that, I would just do, like, the treadmill on an incline, and not saying that that's wrong or anything, but you kind of get bored doing that, you know, the same thing over and over and over again. So that's been new for me, but I like it.
I wish I would have known in the beginning was that progression isn't always just going down in weight, for me specifically on a weight loss journey, or going up in weight in the weight room. It can be running longer, going faster. It could be your clothes are fitting differently. So you may not make those big progressions that you can see with a number or something, but feel them and find, like, stuff that you're passionate about. It doesn't always have to be necessarily, oh, I lost 10 pounds this week, or oh, I went up in my squats or whatever. It can always be something different and something small that you may not notice, but yeah, I can't think of anything else.
No, I mean, honestly, like, even, like, in the food regards, like, if you're like, oh, I don't eat any more, let's say, potato chips or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because for me, that's my trigger food. I haven't eaten potato chips since last year, which is like 6 months. So,
or even trying new foods.
Right.
Or like, oh, I had this whatever today, I really liked it, and I found this new thing that I can make. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's something that you should be happy about, because you're trying new things and learning new ways to cook things or whatever. It's not always just your thing that you, like me, losing weight has always been my thing I've been thinking about. So
my third one was, everybody is self-conscious about something. Regardless of how far you've come in your fitness journey, whether that's, you know, you've dropped three pant sizes or something like that, or you're finally comfortable enough to just wear a sports bra to the gym, regardless of whatever it is, you're gonna find something else that you don't like, because that's just how our society works. You know, it's unfortunate it's that way, that we're, like, nitpicking at ourselves so much to be perfect. But, like, for the beginning of my journey, I had love handles that I hated and felt super unconscious. I didn't want to wear, like, tight shirts or anything because I felt like it looked weird. And now I don't have those, but I have a belly pooch that I don't like. And it's, like, I swear to God, the smallest ass thing I've ever seen. But it's still in my head that makes me self-conscious about it. So it doesn't mean once you lose those 50 pounds, you're going to feel perfect and you're going to be, like, excited. I mean, like, yeah, you'll be excited, but I mean, like, that you won't have anything else to find, and you'll just, you know.
There's always something.
Yeah.
We always wish we had what we did. We always wish we had something that we don't have. Yeah. So my third thing is that higher weight, and I'm talking specifically weightlifting, isn't always better. Like, just because, oh, I can bench 300 pounds, I can't by any sense. No, I can't do that. But hypothetically, I can bench 300 pounds. Okay, but if you do a rep, a half rep, or even something resembling kind of a rep, doing that, whereas before you could do good solid reps at like 290, I would say 290 is what you should be doing. You shouldn't be trying and putting so much effort into something that you're gonna have bad form or you're gonna hurt yourself doing. Not saying that people can't do it, I'm just saying you should always work up to it. Have your form down, get down what you need to, get 2 reps with 290 and then try 300. Don't just say, oh, I can do more, and just push yourself to the point where you're gonna hurt yourself, because there's just no point in doing that. It's really not a big deal. I'm telling you right now, your resume is not gonna say how much you can bench, so why are you doing that? So
that is funny.
It's just something I wish I knew in the beginning.
No, that's very fair, because I mean, what I'm trying to focus on right now is time under tension. So like doing really slow reps. Oh my gosh, you could take literally 10 pounds and doing like just a lateral raise, and you're like a slow one, and you're shaking. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a lot of weight, and just having that slow, correct form, you'll actually gain a lot of muscle and muscle tone that you're probably wanting to gain. I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine too. By all means. Anything else to add to that? No? Okay. So for the fourth one is, I wish I knew that bodybuilding wasn't necessarily healthy. Because when I first got into my fitness journey, I wanted to be a bikini competitor. That's what drove me to get into weightlifting like I did and be really super intense about my diet and everything like that. Like, I was on vacation one year in college, and I was like super into bodybuilding at that point, and I was training, and I went on vacation, and I didn't eat a single thing really off of my meal plan. And you can't enjoy a vacation very well if you don't eat the food. So like, I'm a huge foodie anyway, so like vacations are always centered around food, but it was just like not as enjoyable that way. But also, like, for bikini competitors, once you're on stage, I want to say most of them don't even get a period at that point. Their body fat percentage is so low that they can't even get pregnant. Like, that's your body saying, hey, you're starving, you can't support your own life or another's. So like, it's just kind of that intensity level. I wish I knew was not a healthy way to live. It's not sustainable either.
Yeah, like, you're not gonna be able to do that for the rest of your life. There's just, I mean, some people do and some people might, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just, I don't know how many people want to do that. Especially once you have kids and a family and you're 50, 60, like,
it's hard work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have to do so much work to look that lean all the time. Well, it's a little possible.
Not that we diss people who do it.
Oh no, I mean, by all means, if you're winning championships out there, I'm not the one winning, so you probably look awesome.
And then to kind of go off of that a tiny bit, talking about lifting and sweating and getting down to a lean weight, just because you're sweating really hard, you're doing cardio, you're doing a HIIT workout, and you're just pushing yourself to where you're just dripping sweat, that doesn't necessarily mean you're having the best workout. Like, you can lift weights and have as much of an impact as you can running on the treadmill. Like, just because you're not sweating or you're not out of breath does not mean that, oh, that wasn't a good workout because I didn't sweat and I didn't push myself as much as I can when I'm trying to run as fast as I can. So, and that was hard, especially being overweight, and you think that sweating and cardio burns fat, and that's what you're like aiming to do. Well, so can weightlifting, so can Pilates, so can yoga. Like, again, whatever you may do, just do something that makes you happy and that you want to do, and that's a good workout because you're enjoying it and you're coming back the next day.
Right. Oh my God, there's been so many times where I do workouts I absolutely hate. And that makes it so much harder to go and do something like that.
So just like find what you like to do and do it. And don't be afraid of being like, well, all these other girls do this and I'm not going to be like them. Or all the boys are in the weight room and I don't want to be a boy.
Right, yeah.
Or whatever. You don't want to look like a boy. Who cares? If that's what makes you happy and that's what makes you come in every day, just do it. Don't.
Yeah. Or like when if you're worried about your muscles getting too big as a girl, It takes a very long time to get really defined muscles.
And don't. Girl, you look hot.
Yeah.
Rock it. Who
Oh
cares?
my gosh. I mean, like, if that's your worry, if you don't want to look that way, but, you know. I mean, for me, I love a strong big delt and some triceps, and then, you know. I could list it off, but we're not gonna.
Yeah, do everything for what you want to look like and how you want to feel. Don't do stuff for anybody else.
Right, but
Take
don't
it.
compare yourself to anybody on, like, Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, because you have your own genetics, your own body composition. You're not gonna look like that, unfortunately, if that's what you want. You know, don't go in with a picture of how you want to look. Just grow how you want. Like, if that's your booty, your arms, whatever, if that's what you want, just go in with a clean slate, and then you're going to be more satisfied with your end. I'm not going to say you're going to be completely satisfied, because
Nobody is.
Yeah, right, exactly. But if you just stop reaching for looking like a certain person, it's more attainable for you to do something and enjoy it.
Right.
Okay, so my 5th one is eating whole foods. Like, it sounds so simple, but that's exactly it. It's the answer. Like, eating low fat this and low sugar that and diet this. I mean, your body doesn't know what to do with those chemicals that have replaced the natural food. So your body is like, okay, what do we do with all this extra stuff? Well, it turns it into fat. So it could be a low calorie, you know, meal, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna benefit what you're striving for aesthetically. So, and it's not gonna keep you hungry either, because you're filling up with half the food you would normally have eaten because you're at a calorie deficit. So, like, eating a meal with full fats by using like olive oil or something like that instead of just sauteing in water. I don't know if people do that, so
Literally watch someone on YouTube that does that.
Who?
Someone on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
They're low fat, high carb.
Yeah,
Vegans.
Oh, okay. So see, like, low fat diets aren't necessarily always good for you, because you need healthy fats, not just like a bunch of cheese. So you need healthy fats, like whole milk cheese, you know, like cottage cheese or something like that. You don't need the low fat, because the whole milk one will keep you fuller for longer, but also it has the nutrients that you need, and having those healthy fats helps your brain function better. Like salmon, avocado. I mean, just like things like that. Those are good for you.
And then also to like piggyback off that, don't be afraid of those things.
Right.
Like, don't be afraid to eat fat. Don't be afraid to eat carb. Don't be afraid to eat protein. Like, unless your doctor tells you otherwise, then do that. But if you're just trying to lose weight or lean down or whatever it may be, you can eat whatever you want. Don't be afraid, like, oh, I can't have that potato because it's full of fat, or not fat, starch and carbs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sugar maybe, but it also has so many vitamins and nutrients that you may not even know about. I'm not saying you should eat potatoes every single day all the time.
Right.
Or, like, just don't cook them in oil.
right, yeah.
So just don't be afraid to eat the macronutrients that foods have.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, and another thing that I'm learning now is intuitive eating, which is really hard because it's listening to your body and not restraining yourself from eating something. So like the other day, I got 2 cupcakes because I'm planning my wedding and I have to figure it out. Not that I'm complaining about eating dessert, but like I don't really want to eat dessert in the middle of the day. But I ate half of one and I didn't really care for the other one, so I didn't really eat much of that except for the icing because I love icing. And I was done. I didn't even finish it. Like, it was just like, okay.
That's all I wanted.
Yep. And that's new for me. Intuitive eating is really awesome because then it teaches you how to recognize those body signals. You know, like, oh, there's sometimes where I would be hungry and I'd be like, oh, it's not time to eat. Well, now I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. I should probably find something to eat so I don't overeat when I eat food, you know, later on in the day. So that's been new and it's been awesome.
That's one thing really hard to learn.
It is.
Especially when you've been taught your whole life, like, you should have X amount of food and you should eat during these times because when you're supposed to have those things, like lunch is at noon. Well, if you're not hungry at noon, don't eat at noon. So, and that's something I still kind of struggle with, but
Oh yeah.
always a work in progress.
Oh, it's not easy because it's so. I would say it's not easy because we have access to easily eating unhealthy.
Oh yeah.
You know, we can eat whatever we want at any corner. Oh, hello. This is her kitty.
I don't know if they can see him.
This is Sully.
This is my new kitten.
He's the cutest. Oh gosh.
But alright, so my final
Sorry.
and fifth thing I wish I knew in the beginning, and I still struggle with this, but it is something that I wish I would have known in the very, very beginning when I wouldn't do half the things that I do now. No one gives a flying flip what you're doing in the gym.
Yeah.
Go to the weight room, do what you need to do, go into the extra room and dance if you want to. Like, nobody cares. You're in there to better yourself and do what you need to do there in that time. Just do it. I've seen people do karate in the gym. I've seen people do stepping in the gym. I've seen people box, weightlift, run, Stairmaster. And if you need to go sideways, whether that does stuff for you or not, do it. Who cares? Just do what you need to do and get out. And then also, as a woman especially, you have every right to be there and use those weights just as much as anybody else. Do not let someone look at you different. If they do, then they're probably just insecure about what they're doing or dumb anyways. So just do what you need to do and be on your merry way. It's not a big deal. No one's really caring. Just do what makes you happy.
That's fair because I know a lot of, like, I dance in the gym.
I 100% dance with you.
In between sets. So, I mean, because it makes me happy. I'm listening to, like, Disney music and slow songs. It doesn't matter. I listen to everything in the gym. So, I mean, I know a lot of people have to get, like, pump-up music. Well, I guess just whatever makes you happy is pump-up music, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I guess that was all I wanted to say, I guess.
But anyways, I have to put this back before I spill myself. But anyways, that's our each top 5 things we wish we knew before we started our health and fitness journey. So please subscribe, like this video if you want to see anything in the future. Much love.
Now go eat some fiber.